Hello everyone, this is Catherine from Sterling Inc. Today I will be showing you how I'm using all of my planners for 2024. In this video, I'm only going to be talking about the planners I'm using for planning, and I do have a few other things that I'm using for other purposes such as studying and memory keeping, reading notes, and such. So I'll be showing those in separate videos because I don't want this one to be way too long. So in this video, I'm only going to be showing you books that I'm using for planning purposes. So as you can tell, it's already February, so I'm definitely a little bit late when it comes to showing the New Year setups. But this year I wanted to do things a little bit differently because I've done quite a few yearly systems in the past few years. So this year I wanted to just do it a little bit differently and start using the planners for a few weeks before showing you how I'm using them. Because as we all know, plans change, and sometimes, you know, the way we intended things change over the first few weeks. So I wanted to show you guys how things have evolved and how I'm actually using the planners. I think that would just be a little bit more useful than to see blank planners and just having me talking about how I want to use everything. So let's get started. For my personal planning, I'm only going to be using this one B6 planner. This is the Sterling Inc. Common Planner in the B6 size, and this is the full year option, which has a total of 520 pages. And the color I chose is the quartz. So that is the mauvish color, and it has this texture on the cover. I absolutely fell in love with it. I was so sure I was going to go with a green color or a blue, but I decided on this because I figured that I will be using the green one and the blue one for other purposes. So I wanted for my personal planning to be a pink one. And this pink is very muted, and it has a little bit of that kind of grayish lavender tone too. So it goes well with a plum color like this. And this cover that I'm using is from Vanderspec. They're a company based in the Netherlands, and they make custom planners. And this one I was lucky enough to be able to pair up with another planner gal, Stephanie. Thank you so much, Stephanie. And we were able to hide share and get this blackberry juice ostrich cover. And for this one, this is a low quill, and I asked for no strap because I quite like that folio style cover. So this is the B6 size, and I believe I extended it by, I think that the total length is 305 millimeter. But I do recommend going up to 310 millimeter for the full year at least, because it does get a little bit chunkier towards the end of the year. So, okay, for my personal planning, I will be using this one, which is the B6, like I said. And additionally, I'm also using another B6 compact, and this is in the green color. Oh, it's already in a cover, so I can't show you. But this is a green colored, let me pull it up, actually. This is the green colored B6 compact. Which means it just has less notes pages in the back. It has 120 pages, which is still a lot if you want to take notes. So this one I'm actually using for just tracking what I actually do from day to day. And I'll show you how I'm using that in a second. And I just want to kind of go over everything that I'm using so you get a bigger picture of my system. And this one, it's not really for planning, but this is a N2, which is the equivalent to a Hobonichi Weeks size. And I chose the vertical layout for this. And this, I'm going to be just recording stuff related to work. So I'll be kind of recording what happened from day to day, and then just write associated notes in the back. I won't be showing you this in much detail because it has a lot of confidential information, but the cover I'm using here is the Giglio Appunto in the slim size, and it's the Black Rock and Cloud, yes, the Cloud Epoca cover. And I think it goes really well with this black onyx P letter cover for our planner. So that I'm using for work, which is sterling ink for those of you who didn't know. And then this is in N2 monthly, which is also in that Hobonichi week size, but this only has the monthly. Let me show you. So it only has the monthly and only about 19 pages of notes pages in the back. And this is just a slim booklet, and it has a total of 64 pages. And it has all of the front pages, like the calendar, the quarterly section, the goal planning, and these pages. So you can use this for, you know, project planning, pre-planning, record keeping, anything like that. And this comes in all 6 sizes that we offer on our website. So this one I'm using for kind of sketching out my to-dos. I might do just a separate video on this because the way I do my to-do list is kind of on the calendar. I can't really show you what I wrote. I'm so sorry. But basically kind of what happens is that there will be important events and I'll kind of plan backwards, and that becomes my to-do list. And this way it's much less overwhelming for me to plan out my to-do list, because a lot of the times I get a little bit overwhelmed because I just have too much on my plate and I don't know when I'm supposed to do what. And that's why I like to do my to-do list on a monthly layout. And this is, I basically just use as a tool to plan out my weeks and my months ahead. And also if I'm planning like new product release or, you know, future ideas for collections, for stickers and such, I'll write them down here so I have a deposit of ideas for future collections. So I'm not drawing a blank when it comes time to draw new things for the new month. So yeah, this I'm using for just like sketching out my to-do list. So I use it as a tool to plan, but this won't be my planner, if that makes sense. So that will stay here. And I chose the N2 just because it's very slim and I can kind of put it like here with my B6 and it won't come out, or I can put it together with my work planner, because when I plan it here is mostly for work and maybe a little bit of personal things regarding my kids here and there. So I decided to put that together. I decided to go with an N2 size here. And the last piece of my personal planning is this chunky guy. This is the Van der Spek personal size binder. So binder as in it has 6 rings like this. The leather that I used here is the JL leather, Jeanette leather, in the brown. Yeah, so this is the JL brown, and all of the tabs that I have here are from Gracie Edits. These are actually, let me see, one thing I can show you maybe. So this, I actually just got the little tabs that you can stick on things, and I just bought really thick vellum paper and cut them to size and hole punched them, and I just attached the tab stickers onto the vellum. These tabs you can customize, you can order through their website. I absolutely love her tabs. They're very slim, but it seems very durable, and this is exactly what I needed, so I was happy that I came across her shop. So this chunker is what I would call my brain. So inside of here, I don't use stickers, I don't use any kind of decoration. The only thing I have here are inserts like this. These are actually from Sterling Ink, and also I have the grid paper inserts in here. These are already pre-printed. You can buy them from our shop. These are Tomoe River paper, and they come in both gilded or not gilded option. And you can see that's our logo. So in here I only have these 2 types of inserts, and I basically treat this as a notebook, a very, very thick notebook. And this is what I call my brain. And I like to jot down like my ideas and whatnot as things come into my head. And once, you know, it becomes kind of formalized, and if it's something that I want to catalog for future use, then I will put them into one of these sections. And all of these sections cover basically all of my life, including personal life, work life, kids, family, all of that. So it has my personal goals, has my like wellness, my study plans, my for homeschooling my kids, and also anything regarding our family, a little bit of my business. I have a section here for my business, which is Sterling Ink, but I do have a separate, like more in-depth binder for work, because this won't be enough to contain everything. But this is just, think of it as my brain, like the little chunk in my head that says Sterling Ink, and it has some ideas, kind of big picture stuff. But when it comes to really developing that into a project, it will be going into a larger planner on its own. So that's how I use this, and I will do a separate video on this binder and how I'm using it, so I can show you exactly how that works. But it's really not that like crazy. It's just me writing down notes here as it comes into my head, and I'll just categorize them, and that way that idea is always there, and I can flip through this and find whatever information I want. So this is really my brain in the form of a binder, and you can think of it as a brain dump. And if it's information that I don't need, I just rip it out. And it's just very nice to be able to kind of flip through it and then change up the sections as needed, and you know, take out pages and then like slide them into different sections. It's just very versatile, and I love using a binder for that purposes. And my system has always been a dated planner and a personal binder like this, ever since 2018, I would say. And this system really works for me, and it's stayed the same every single year. And this is how my brain works. So this is all the dated stuff that will get archived for that year, but this is not date related things. It's just ideas and whatnot that needs to stay together for eternity, I guess. So that's just my brain. And this is more of a day-to-day task related planning and journaling type of thing. So these two are kind of my main system. And if you want to call this planning, I guess you can call it planning, but I'm using a separate planner for homeschooling my kid. I have 2 kids now. I had a baby in October of 2023. So now I have 2 kids, but obviously the new addition, he is too little to get homeschooled, so I'm only homeschooling my older one right now. So I'm using this to kind of plan out what we're doing for homeschool, like curriculum stuff, notes. I'm using and this is the N2 size in the horizontal layout, so horizontal meaning like this. And this also has 369 pages of notes pages in the back. And how I'm using this is basically I am using the back section for writing down like curriculum, what we're doing from Monday through Friday, and I highlight kind of the things that we already did, so I can keep track of what we actually did. And then pre-reading notes, again, this is a curriculum, and we're on week 3 now. We just finished week 3, so that's highlighted. And then these are pre-reading notes, some questions to ask him after reading stories. And I want to use this more extensively, but right now I'm just trying to kind of get a feel of how I want to use this, and it might change a little bit, but the back section is definitely for curriculum and pre-reading. Pre-reading just means you're going through the materials that they're going to be reading and kind of writing down any type of notes that you want to, either you want to plan a project, or you want to like prepare some additional material, or you want to ask him some questions and stuff like that. And the front section, the calendar portion of the weekly, I'm using it to kind of write down like sort of what we did and remarks and like what I noticed from him. So this is sort of like a review section, I would say. And yeah, so that was this week. We took 2 weeks off here because he was sick and I was sick, and we were really busy with some other stuff, so we decided to pause for 2 weeks. But then this week we came back, and he did such an amazing job. So I'm writing down just like kind of what we did and my remarks and like his improvements that I'm noting and all that stuff. And so on the left hand side is just sort of like quickly jotting down anything of note. And if he's struggling with something, I'll write it down. If he did something really well that he used to struggle with, then I write it down. And then on the right hand side, I haven't added it, but we do projects like crafts work related to that week's homeschooling material. So I'm going to put pictures of like what he made here on the right hand side, just so we kind of have a little cute record of like what he did. Yeah, so that's how I'm going to be using this. And right now this is not in a cover. It's holding up well. But that's basically how we're using it. And then here, the monthly, I want to just do a summary of like everything we've learned. And it's not about like literally filling out every single day. It's just about kind of getting a full picture of like what we did and how we did and stuff like that. And then for the goal breakdown, like I don't really have any goals for him. I think that's just like adding too much pressure on both of us. It's just like do as we go. But this page I decided to use to write down the books that we read and how many times we read, because I'm sure if you have kids, none of the books that they read, they actually read only once. They read it so many times. Like a lot of the books we read like 10 times over. So I kind of just write down like how many times we read each book, and I would just write down like, all the books that he read in the year, and just see how many books we read together. It's just fun. This one I didn't do so well, but I wanted to kind of keep track of like just what we did on a daily basis. But as anything that's kind of on a daily basis, it's just like very hard to keep track of. But I want to do better with this because I think it will be fun to just at the end of the year see exactly what we did, kind of as a big picture. And here tonight I'm going to kind of go in and just like write a little summary of like his improvements and all that stuff. So that was my that is my homeschool planning planner. So this is the N2H, which is equivalent to a Hobonichi Weeks size. So that's that. And the color is the caramel. So that's the brown color. Okay, now like 20 minutes in, let's go into my B6 and how I'm using it. So the first thing that we see is just like blank page, and I just clipped in the January square sticker from our subscription, and I will switch this out into the February one. And the first page, I'm not really doing much with this. It's just going to be there. I'm not really using that for anything. So here, oh, actually, I mean, if there are anything of note, I'll probably just like circle it and write them down here, like what happened. And here is my, I guess you can call this vision board. And I just kind of took some photos from Pinterest and put them together. And I don't really have a word of the year. I never did word of the year. I don't really like work that way. But I feel like if I had a word every year, it would just be the same every year. And my goals kind of stay pretty similar from year to year. But this year, something that I want to work on is just consistency. And that's something that I always wanted to kind of pay more attention to. Because I feel like oftentimes I am so focused on doing something perfectly that even a little bit of a setback kind of discourages me. And I think that's very similar to a lot of people, I would say. Just when we see like, you know, if you have a tracker, you kind of slide off because life happens, then, you know, I tend to get discouraged and I just end up not doing it altogether. But the point is not to have a perfect like attendance sheet. It's to stay consistent and forming a new habit. Like it's really all about just working on the consistency and then keep on standing up after you fall. Just keep on coming back, keep on working on it. And then eventually after some time, it will become natural to do a certain thing without even thinking about it. So I wanted to really focus on consistency, and it is more important than perfection. I think there's nothing more true than that. Yeah, so I have like, I think I follow this woman that took this photo. She's amazing. She has a YouTube channel too. I think she's I don't know her background, but she was talking about her brother's Karamazov book, and it just looks so tattered, and I love that because it definitely looks really loved and well read. And yeah, so just a lot of reading, pictures, typewriter. I love typewriters and working out and all that. So my goals if you want to see more my goal setting process in detail, I already have a few videos on that. And specifically in the Common Planner, I have a detailed one for last year. And my goals, like I said, tend to stay very similar from year to year. If you have followed me for a while, you would know that my goals are pretty similar from year to year. So I always have a section for myself. It's about working on my wellness, working on my kind of personal character and family, spending time with them. And Sterling Inc. is my work. Homeschooling is for Sterling, so I will be, that kind of stays the same. It's just, now he's getting a little bit older. We want to be a little bit more structured and do more things together. And knowledge project, this is my lifelong project of pursuing just all the stuff around the world that I want to know about. I want to know about everything basically, and that's my huge project for the rest of my life, however long that is. And I'm really passionate about it. I call it my homeschooling, like homeschool myself project. And it's just been so much fun. And I also do this so that I can be a better homeschool mom, because I want to know more about everything in order to teach my kid. And just from like casual conversation and whatnot. If we were going to a museum, I want to know like how to talk to him and stuff like that. But I'm not forcing myself to do it. I just really, really, really love it. So that's my lifelong project that I'm like just super passionate about. And hobbies, I don't really have time for hobbies, but if I could, I would paint more, and I want to play the piano, practice more. Book project, I want to write a book. I have an idea what it's going to be about. I need to do a lot of research. And honestly, it's in the order of importance. So up to here, and these two are just sort of like, if I can get to it, great, but if not, no biggie. So that's kind of how I look at my goals. It's just let's focus on the priorities, and the ones that I would like to get to, I'll get to if I can, but if not, no biggie. So now we come to the quarterly pages, and I've seen a lot of question about how to use this, and everybody use it in a different way, which is really, really awesome. And that's why I created this planner, because I wanted it to be sort of a blank slate that people can really mold into their mold using their personality and whatever fits their lifestyle. But for me, this is just like, a lot of people say, well, you already set the goals here, so why do you need, what are you going to do here? Like, is this more goals? Like, what is this? So the way I do it is I split into 2 columns. I actually have a little dot here and a little dot here. So you can actually split it into 2 sections if you want to. At the beginning where it says priorities for the quarter, I kind of just write like how I envision this quarter and what I want to do. So here I'm writing again, I want to focus on consistency and not perfection. So that's something that I'm just reiterating to myself. And it's in this book, there's nothing like, I don't care if I'm repeating something. It's just what I want to say to myself. If I need to repeat something 10 times, I will repeat it 10 times. And I don't care if I'm repeating it. That's not the point. And then in here, for January, I kind of just write again how I envision this month to be. It's not about like where I want to travel to or whatever, but it's more about like the vibe of the month. So here I wrote wish list. I want to learn to use time in between. That just means, because I really don't have much time to do anything. So I want to utilize the little chunks of time that I have. Whenever I have them, I want to be able to recognize them and then use that towards something that I really want to do. For example, read a book, read like any of the books that's on my knowledge project, and just like learn something instead of scrolling. Just because I have 10 minutes and I feel like I can't do anything in 10 minutes doesn't mean that I can't. So that's just what that means. And then not giving up on having my own time and not get discouraged by missing a day. So not giving up on having my own time just means sometimes actually most of the time I feel really guilty for spending time, like say studying the things I want to study instead of doing work, or instead of hanging out with my child or children, or instead of like maybe cleaning up the apartment or something like that. But I want to kind of just emphasize to myself that it's important to have my own time that I can use to work on the stuff that I love other than work and family. And not get discouraged by missing a day. It just means, when I'm tracking something and then, I say I didn't work out for 2 days and I get really discouraged. Don't get discouraged. That's normal. And not get frustrated by not being able to do everything. This is me all the time, because I get super frustrated and overwhelmed that I cannot do everything that I want to do. One step at a time, and one step at a time. Don't look sideways, look up, don't look down. It just means like look forward and don't just like keep on like thinking about what I didn't do and what I could have done better. Don't waste my most precious currency. I can never earn back time. That just means time is my most precious currency. And I think it's true for everyone, because you literally cannot regain the time that you have lost. If you lost money, you can maybe make more money, but there's always a potential to make more money, but there's no potential to earn more time. You just have whatever amount you have, and none of us know how much time we have left. So that's the most precious currency. And that just means like not giving my eyeball to anything that I'm not interested in, or it's like everything. Like sometimes I fall in this trap of like clicking on a celebrity gossip like article, and I'm like, why did I just click that? I don't care. I don't know this person and I don't really care. But now I just wasted like 2 minutes. And that's the 2 minutes and I will never get back. Nothing is too difficult, one step at a time. It just means anything can be achievable if I just put my mind to it. But I just have to remember I'm not going to be perfect from day one, and it really takes time to get there. So that's sort of like my mission statement, if you want to call it, in January. And on the right hand side, I already summarized it because now is the end of January. So I wrote that I successfully used the idle time to read. So when I'm feeding my child, as in the little baby, and when he's a little fussy, I have to walk around, like kind of like shake and like kind of bounce a little bit. That's when I read on my Kindle. So those are the times I was able to utilize, which is really, really great. Number 2, didn't get discouraged, and I kept on looking for ways to make things work. So I don't mean to spend so much time on this, but sometimes people do ask me a specific question, so I do want to kind of go over it. So this month I was really trying to study, and to me, like the idealized version of studying is like sitting down on a desk, maybe with a cup of tea, maybe if I'm lucky and if I have time to do that, and then just having like uninterrupted time where I can read using like a paper book, and then on the right hand side I have my notebook where I'm writing down the notes. And that's like my perfect idealized version of studying. And this month, like maybe 3 weeks into it, I realized, and I already realized this, but I finally had to submit to this idea that is basically fantasy and it will never happen for a few years. As long as my kids are small and running around, that is not going to happen. So I had to adjust some things, and it worked out for me, and it's been great. So I started using the Kindle Scribe to write down my notes. And I'll talk more about that when I'm introducing my study notebook. But yeah, so I'll talk about that there. And output method, that's just for studying. And then sustainable diet, which just means it's not like about a quick fix, and it's just more about a lifestyle. And it's been working out great. My brain is kind of rewired into thinking differently, and it's been working out amazingly. Number 6, 40% less screen time, and that's true. I cut down 40% of less screen time, and the rest I do have to be on my phone for work. So it's like the absolute minimum that I have to use. But other than that, I don't use my phone. Like I use my phone to take photos of my kids and stuff, obviously. But other than that, and like using it for work, I don't touch my phone. If I have like 5 minutes, I'm reading on my Kindle. If I have 10 minutes, I'm reading on my Kindle. I'm just not on my phone. So here, I am just sort of like writing big picture stuff, like for snow and such. Okay, so now let's go to the monthly section. So this is my monthly. Last year I did use last year and also the year before, and for several years I was using the monthly section for pre-planning, but as you know, now I'm using this booklet for pre-planning and writing down my tasks, and it's working out so much better because that way I can hash everything out already and put them here, so it's less cluttered, because a lot of times I'm like pre-planning here and then it's not actually going to happen like that, and it just gets like really messy. It's like which part is the plan part of it and which part is like what I'm actually going to do that day and what's more realistic. So that's when I started out this year, I already kind of put in the like big days and highlighted it, and that's how I broke into this planner. So I definitely recommend that when you're scared to write in a new planner. Just kind of write down all the birthdays and holidays and whatnot, and then that really helps it to like get the new book jitters out. So on the left hand side, I just used a sticker to put down week 1, week 2, week 3, and that's this sticker. I don't know if you guys have seen it. I don't have it here, but it's on our website. It's the week number sticker, and it just comes as one big sheet, and it has from week 1 through week 53, I think, because some years have week 53. So that's how I'll be using the monthly section, and I already decorated part of February with the stickers. I absolutely love the February theme. So now this is my weekly section. I'm using, obviously in the B6 there's only vertical layout, and I love vertical. I know a lot of people prefer horizontal and some people prefer vertical, and everyone is different, but I love vertical because in my mind vertical gives me so much more freedom to do things compared to horizontal, and I'll show you. So here, this is one of my favorite layouts. So I just drew a line across where this is cut off, right, like this, and on the top I use it as a place to write down my to-do list. And I never use the time, because what I noticed about myself is that if I write down tasks that is time-based, I will never get it done, because my life is so chaotic. Like I can never say this is what I'm gonna do at 3 and I'm gonna start doing that at 3. It's much more realistic to just write what I have to do that day and get those things done whenever I can. So this is how I write my to-do list, and that's after sort of like working things out in this planner. And then on the bottom, I always have a section that says this week, and then a section that says weekly review. Here it says number 1 because it's week number 1. So this kind of just free floats, right? I'm using the bottom portion as a place to write down anything that I want for that week. And as you can see, a normal weekly spread looks like this. This year I moved the timeline into that line so that you can have more space to write, basically. And I'm writing all over it, and you can barely notice the numbers anymore. So you can definitely use that just as a blank space to write whatever you want, and this way you can be free from the timeline, because a lot of people I know don't like writing like this, and people say they don't use the hours, and I don't use the hours either, and I just write my to-do list and the kind of big picture stuff for the week. So you can think of this as things I want to write for the week, tasks, and big tasks and big items that I want to remember about that week. So for this week here, I'm writing kind of bigger picture to-do list here, or things I want to remind myself here. And then here it's just like notable things that happened that week. A lot of times it's about my sons, and just like things I want to remember. So when we are flipping back through these, I can just say, oh, that week we did that, this happened. So that's how I'm using these two sections. And then you can see the glasses here. That's from this sticker from our shop. This is going to come back in stock. We redid this using the washi paper, and it's just so amazing. And this I used to write down like what I want to study and study related things. So that's the knowledge project that I talked about earlier. Then over here, I'm just kind of writing extra to-do lists for certain days. If that day tends to be a little bit crazy, sometimes I rewrite to-do lists or like add on to it just to kind of clear my head. Sometimes I think the to-do list up here is too messy and I need to kind of organize them in a certain way, like this chunk is for work and this chunk is for what, for like personal stuff, or I want to put them in like chronological order, like do this first and do that next type of thing to help me out. So sometimes I'll write more to-do lists down here. And then I'll also write more stuff as needed throughout the week. And I just fit it wherever I can. I always lay down the stickers first so I don't have to worry about them later. And it always gives me really interesting layout. So I really, really like that. And here I have a section for next week, just things I have to do for the following week. So this is week 2. And here you can see that I switched out the layout. So I have columns here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 days here. And then on the right hand side, I'm just using it for notes. And up here, I just used the regular whiteout to white out the numbers that was here. And you can barely see it. So that's great. And to do this, I used this sticker. So this is available in our shop, also available for full and deluxe sub kits. This comes every month. And if you're a bullet journaler and you're not using our planner, or you know, even if you're using our planner, this is really helpful. But if you're using just like a blank bullet journal, then this comes in handy because you can basically make your own planner. Or if you're using our notebook to use as a bullet journal, this is also perfect too because it's sized for the grid height. So yeah, this is how I was able to redo this week's spread. And I like doing this because it just kind of makes it more interesting. And I really like this layout too because I use these as to-do list, same as this one. And then this is just a blank space. And again, I have this week and I have weekly review number 2 and the studying section. And I just put a picture of my son, so cute. And some other pictures here. And this is number 3, week number 3. And I again changed this into a horizontal layout. So I just whited out everything. And again, I used this to update that layout so that it's like, it looks really neat and nice. And it's the same font as our planner. So it just becomes really easy to customize it. And again, this left section is just for to-do list. And on the right hand side, I have the study section. I have this week, I have Sterling, I have weekly review. And this is the 4th week. I haven't put the photo of the week there yet, but I left a spot for it. So this is weekly review number 4 this week. And here I just have a quote. I'm learning about the big history, which is something that I'm so fascinated by. That's something that I always wanted to learn more about. So I'm studying that. I have a section for studying. This is just a quote that I read when I was studying. So here again, it's just to-do list and I just need to put a photo here. And this is this week. To-do list up here this week. It's a little bit blank right now, but the week is not over. So it usually gets filled out towards the end of the week because I'm like trying to wrap up all the stuff that I have to work on. And I pre-decorated February. You can see that, let's see. This page, I'm doing the same layout that I love. And here I again did this sort of layout where I have the columns here, and then I'm going to be using this as a notes page. And this again, because I love that layout. Yeah, so here. But really seriously, like I feel like the vertical layout just gives me so much more freedom to change from here to here, or horizontal versus horizontal changing into vertical. And I can't really explain why, but I've heard some people agree with me before. So okay, so that's how I'm using the weekly section. And January. Okay, so these are the blank notes pages. So I'm splitting it into 2 sections, and I'll show you how. But first, yeah, I'll just show you right now. So I have 369 pages of blank notes pages like this with page numbers. And from the front, I'm using it as a journal, if you want to call it that, but it's really like a self-reflection type of space. And then from the back section, so from here, 354 page, I'm using it for brain dump, basically. And I can't show you because it's not that it's messy, it just has stuff that I would like to be private. The back, I want to do an index tab system, and then I just left some pages for example here, this year, highlights and favorites. This is extra pages for whatever that I want to write. And then sketch pages is basically brain dump. And I wanted to work from the back, and the front I'm writing journal, and I'll just meet halfway. And this is also great because, as you know, towards the end of the year, the book can get really chunky. So it's better to kind of end up somewhere in the middle where it's easier to write than to write at the end. So that's kind of how I'm using the back sections. But now let me show you my journaling section. So on the right, I always put the calendar that comes with the subscription kit. That's a B6 size. But you can also get these for free at the digital versions in all the planner sizes, and also personal and pocket size for the ring planners. And A5 of course, but A5 is also just a standard size for planners as well. So that's available. And then on the left hand side, I just put the month sticker up top, and I use these do I have that? Yes. So I use this vertical tracker number strip to put here from 1 through 31, and this is just where I wrote down like gratitude. And sometimes I forget, but this is actually pretty easy to fill back in because you can always find something to be grateful, even if you forgot to write it on that day. You can just come back later and then just find one thing that you were grateful for. And you can repeat things. You can be grateful for your family like 5 times a month, or like 30 times a month, and that's okay. So that's how I'm using this page. And then January, and the journaling starts. I used a little square sticker from our shop. This is for 2024, so it's actually dated. And then I just put that there, and I highlighted, or like I put a circle using my Tombow marker. So Tombow is like this. Tombow marker, and I just kind of circled around the days I actually journaled. So here I like to split it up into 2 columns. There's a dot up there and up down here to help you with that. And I use the month sticker like this with the weekday sticker I cut these up so I can put them in my planner. But I just use these to kind of write the heading. And I put the stickers there before I start journaling. And here I'm just reflecting on some thoughts. I rarely write down what happened that day. It's mostly just about reflections, like ideas. It's really just a place to self-reflect. A lot of times I'm writing about what I want to study, what I studied. This is also a place where I kind of write down how the stuff I read affected me. It could be things I learned about the universe that was impactful. I'll write some stuff down there. It's not study notes, but it's just how I absorb that information, and like, you know, what kind of ideas it gave me and stuff like that. Sometimes I turned a page to write because it was an awkward space. So yeah, this is how I journaled. And also people ask me how you use the vellum. You can tip it in like this, so it can serve as a really pretty page in your planner. And I wrote in the back like that. I think it's so pretty like this. And then you can also cut it out. So this is actually cut out from a vellum piece, like this and that. They were cut out from vellum to serve as like a really large graphic on your page. I love this page. And this is one of my favorites because I cut this out of vellum, and then you can flip it up like that. And you can peek through it and then see what I wrote in the back. Here I just like reflected on this month. I love doing that. So I think this is so pretty, and it just gives you something interesting in your planner. And I set it up for February. So here again, the sticker and then the vertical tracker. And this I actually put here, but I ripped it out and moved it because I wanted to use this sticker here. This is the die cut that comes with your subscription, and a lot of people didn't know that it was a sticker, and yeah, of course it's a sticker. So, and it's clear too. It has a like opaque backing, but it's actually clear sticker, and it has it's an opaque sticker, but it has clear like outline. So it's almost like a washi sticker, but even better because it blocks out all the grid in the back, and you can't see the outline of the sticker at all. And this is the February monthly calendar, and again that will repeat for February, and I'll come back here to show you like a flip through of my February once I'm done with that. And that's how I plan on doing my this year's videos. I'm so sorry, like last year was just so crazy. I got pregnant at the beginning of the year, and it really like kind of, even though it was planned and everything, it completely like threw me off because of morning sickness, and it just knocked me out. And then once I kind of realized what was happening, it didn't occur to me that I had my morning sickness because I didn't have it with the first one. So it just kind of knocked me out completely, and then I finally realized, oh, that's morning sickness. And by the time I felt good enough to like do work, I was just slammed with all the stuff I had to do all at once. So it was just, last year was so crazy. But I hope to do better this year with videos and such. So this is my planner, and let me quickly show you my 2023 planner. So this is my 2023 B6 Common Planner. It's set in my, I had a cover on this at all times. I didn't have a clear cover on it because I'm just not the type of person that likes clear covers. And I didn't really care if it got a little bit dinged up or whatever inside my planner, inside my letter cover. So I kept it like this, and this is kind of how it held up. The binding is perfectly fine. This is not called a broken binding. A lot of people came to me and said, oh, this has like issues because the spine is broken. It's not broken. This is just how the binding looks after you use it, because it allows you to open up completely, so it definitely bends as you use it. And those of you who have Hobonichi, you will know, yeah, that's completely normal. But some people were completely new to this type of binding, so they were complaining about it. So yeah, that's kind of how it held up. And I didn't use all of it. I used like 200 pages of the back, but like this is November. I love these pages so much. Like, that was October. I only journaled like 2 days, which is so sad because I love the October stickers. Didn't get to use that. That's one of my favorite things. Been wanting to do that for so long. I think I'll do like a proper flip through of this, but it's just so gorgeous. I love using this planner. And what's been really good is the blank notes pages, because halfway into the year I decided to add a brain dumping section in the back, and that just made this planner like the bomb. Like it had everything I needed. So it's just, this is amazing. This is the only planner I used last year, and yep, it's been great. So I'll do a proper flip through of this, but yeah, that's the 2023 version of B6 full year planner, and it had that paper linen cover. I know some people were just not happy about it, but then towards later of the year they said yeah, actually it does hold up, it's fine. So yeah, I love this, but I'm also really excited for my 2024 planner, which is right here in the pink quartz. So yes, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Oh wait, hold on. So that's the 2024. Okay, so really quickly, let me show you. I forgot to show this. So this is the Eternal leather cover that I ordered without straps. So how am I using this? This is a planner that I'm using to track my time. And this is really just an effort to kind of figure out exactly what I do in a week, because my days are so crazy. Like sometimes I don't know what I actually did that week, and it's quite frustrating. And because there are so many things I still want to add to my plate, I want to know where I can actually take out time, squeeze out time. And that's sort of what this thing is about. So I would just go through the day and track what I did every half an hour. And I have my color code here. What I did was I actually like labeled my markers with what I'm using that for, so I don't get confused, because I'm using different brands. And so it's just helpful to kind of, for example, this one I'm using for studying, this one I'm using for reading. So that's how I'm labeling everything. So yeah, I basically just kind of go through the day and then color code at the end, just to figure out like what the heck did I do that week. So blue is working, purple is childcare. As you can see, there's a lot of childcare, and here I'm actually like able to add in, you know, reading time while I'm doing the childcare, like probably feeding multiple times a day and such. And this week is a little bit better because I was able to get bigger chunks of working time in there. Green is homeschooling, so that's kind of how much time we spent homeschooling. We were still trying to like figure out when is the best time to do that. So see here, it was like all over the place. But then we worked out that it's actually, this week we didn't do homeschooling, but we actually worked out that the best time to homeschool is actually at 8 p.m. That's the time it works best for my kid. 8 p.m. is when he wants to homeschool. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like 7:50, like he doesn't know how to read the time, so it's not like he sees the time and he's like, this is the time to homeschool. It's 7:50 p.m. and he'll say, in 10 minutes can we do lesson? And I'll be like, okay. And every time it's 8 p.m. So like here, that was probably what was happening here, and I realized that that's the time that we should do homeschooling. So here, and he's like paying such good attention. That's the time he's the best with like lessons, more so than morning time or like midday, and that's when he wants to play and do things outside. So that was really fun. And also another thing I realized while doing this is that Sterling doesn't like me to read to him during the day at all. Like he doesn't want to listen to it, but it's like towards late night, that's when he wants to listen to stories, and he's just like paying such good attention. He absorbs everything, he remembers everything to great detail. So it's what works for him. It's what works for him. That's why we homeschool. So that's that. And another thing that I noticed while doing this is that I can't get much work done in the morning. Like up until like 3 p.m. is when I actually can start working. Even if I had no other engagements, like my brain is just not there until 3 p.m. Like once 3 p.m. hits, my brain's like, okay, let's go. Like, so that was really helpful. So what I did later was I would schedule more like administrative, like stuff that I can just do without thinking much for work, and that worked out for me. So that in that way, this has been really, really helpful because I am able to like observe my pattern and work with what works best for me. So that's that. And what's also cool is that I'm having like I want to do a lot better with memory keeping for my kids and family. And at first I was tracking like how much time I was spending like actually doing memory keeping. And so here, that color is all memory keeping. You can see there was a lot of that here all throughout the week. But I was able to see like here, for the entire week, I only spent this much time doing memory keeping, which is like half an hour. So I was able to shrink all of this down into just one day and doing just once for the first half of the week, and then doing it a little bit more for the second half of the week. So I cut down a lot of time for that. And then now I actually, so here I did Okay, so I spent an hour and a half catching up on the entire week here. So I only did it one day for the entire week, which is incredible because I was able to do all of that in 1.5 hours. So I was able to make it much more efficient. And so that was helpful because I was able to see, okay, that's a lot of time that I'm spending on doing that, and it's not sustainable. Not that I don't enjoy doing it, but like it's just not sustainable because I will get more busy and that's just not possible. So it's better to kind of work out a system to do it. And the system was to just like do it once a week. And I'll show you guys how I'm memory keeping so you guys can see that. But here, that's basically how I'm using that. And the gray parts are like, you know, like cleaning apartment or like, you know, getting ready, like social stuff, like things that I don't really care about, then I just put that as gray. Yeah, so that's how I'm using this. That is just like, that just means like the whole day's out. Like here we had a celebration for my kids, 100-day celebration. So the previous day was just all about getting ready for that, and then the next day was having the actual celebration. So it was right off. And then here we went to the Natural History Museum, so the whole day is kind of wiped out. Yeah, so that's how I'm using this. I love it. So I always have this either like in a cover, or this can just come with this main planner right here, just like that, tucked in like that. So I can carry it like this. So it's really important for me to have my planner and the binder together. And this I tend to leave at home if I'm going to the office. And this one I sometimes bring it, sometimes don't. But I always have to have my B6 planner, the time tracker thing, and my personal binder. So these two are my must-have when I'm going anywhere. But obviously, like if I'm going out with the kids, I'm not gonna lug this around this too much. So yeah, that's my 2024 system. I hope that was very long, but I hope that was enjoyable. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll be bringing you the other parts of this whole setup, which is my study notes, reading book, and memory keeping journal. So I'll be walking through those in detail, and I'll also show you kind of how I'm using the personal binder in a little bit more detail in another video. Thank you so much. Bye.